down to Waimea Bay. What a fantastic sunny day. Boys and girls hanging round, surfers going up and down. That's when I caught my wave, knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore, and yes, dreams come true.
Hey everybody, welcome to the QuiverCast. All right, everyone, welcome back to the QuiverCast. I'm excited. Joe Turpel's here, and we are going to kind of finish the conversation we started a little bit ago when the news of the tour came out. So now we're going to talk about the guys and gals that qualified.
Yeah, Mike, great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So stoked.
How crazy was that last event of the Challenger Series? They went back to Newcastle, which I found really interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a season where it started in Newcastle and ended in Newcastle, which, you know, is convenient for the qualifiers because all of a sudden their Aussie leg of the tour just got a lot bigger if they made it. So, man, so much drama. I think the first name that pops into my mind, you know, won't be a rookie because he's already done that that season where he finished in the top 5 is Morgan Siblick. He's from Meriwether Beach, you know, has some background in Yamba as well. But I don't know if you saw what I was seeing this year, Mike, but he is like 10 times better than he was when he finished 5th in the world back in that shortened season. He is strong. He is so confident. And we got a taste of that with Morgan last year on those wild card call-ups he had at Burley Heads and also at Bells when he made finals day. That time away from the tour, I think, only did him wonders as far as lifting his game to be another, you know, true threat this year.
Going back to the Newcastle event, you know, it's kind of beach breaky. It's such a good event. I mean, the waves were good.
I love that part of Australia too. It's beautiful. Like there's a lot of different moods of Meriwether. It can get big, you know, you can get really barreled on the day. And then it's just a nice, fun, like rippable, scrappy little beach break, you know? So for guys like Morgan, who was able to kind of finish at home, that was an advantage for him. He clearly took that and ran with it. George Pitar's back on tour. That guy is an absolute weapon. And he, you know, he's got a few, I think, things to prove for himself to have confidence on his comeback to the tour. He's got good range on his carves. The fun part about the tour going into Bells is they've already posted the heat draw on worldsurfleague.com. So George is going straight up against the event favorite, Ethan Ewing, in his first heat back on the tour. But, you know, he's definitely going to go all out. That's going to be a fun one.
So there's only a few rookies on the male side that are true rookies.
Yeah, so true rookies, we've got Cowley Vost. That guy's going to be insane. Fun to have Tahiti represented again after Michel Perez has moved on. He's shown the world he's not just a barrel specialist. You know, he has got everything. He's a really smart competitor. And he won the Challenger Series. So he was able to win the season after that last event in Newcastle. It'll be him versus Luke Thompson from Cape Town, South Africa. Oscar Berry is going to be a rookie representing Australia. And also Mateus Hurdy. That's for men, that's the rookie class. And that's a really fun one. A lot of cool representation with Cowley and Tahiti, Mateus, Florianopolis. You got Luke Thompson, Cape Town, and then Oscar Berry, who's like early years of his life, he was in Yamba, then moved up to the Gold Coast when he was about 16. That's going to be a fun rookie of the year race.
You know a lot about these guys. Did you have to study these guys, or did you like watch them through their career?
With the rookies, that's the fun part. You know, for a guy like, you know, Cowley Vost, I've hung out with him for many years, just going to Tahiti so much, and I met him at the U.S. Open when he was little. So I've known Cowley Vost pretty well. Luke Thompson got the wild card into J-Bay after he won Bolito last year. So I got to surf with him a little bit. He's super cool, always laughing. He's got a real fun side to him and really strong and powerful. And then Mateus, he's had wild cards. He's been around a lot. I always see him when he comes to Hawaii too. And so the newest face for me personally is going to be spending more time with Oscar Berry. I've heard the best things about him. I enjoyed watching his heats this past year on the Challenger Series. but he's on the top of my list for a guy to connect with, and just, learn about his whole history. I heard the other day he was like a kind of a pro skater when he was a kid and kind of shifted
really?
gears. So
Nice.
I'm really excited to get to know Oscar this year.
To win the Rookie of the Year, they have to be a true rookie?
Exactly. Yeah. So, say the returning guys like Eli Hanneman, Morgan Siblick, Callum Robson, Liam O'Brien, a few others, they've already had a chance to win Rookie of the Year.
Got it.
And so, you can only do it once. And then these guys that qualified in the top 10, they're like returning surfers getting their spot back. So,
right. So it's still exciting, though. And these guys, some of them had a roller coaster career. And they're back.
Gosh, that last event was heartbreak. It was just it was everything, right? Oh my God, Cade for Cade. Oh my gosh. That was as brutal as it gets to have your heat stopped, the day before because of the wildlife warning, and then to have to start all over the next morning, and then you don't have your same stuff. And the emotional head noise you probably felt of going, wait, I was winning that heat with 11 minutes to go. Now I got to start with zeros, and I don't think he ever moved on from that. So Cade's a good kid, man. He's built tough. He'll definitely be back. But, man, like Jacob Wilcox, that was a heartbreaker. Yeah, I think that's his 5th time. He's been a heat away from being back on tour. But then, the other side, it's like Liam O'Brien was able to save that last spot, and then the emotional moment for Mateus Hurdy. I actually called him last week. Man, he's still just in this state of shock, of like disbelief that it all worked out, and he just can't wait to start at Bell's. But man, just hearing his voice, even a few days after the moment, he was just still so emotional, in a good way.
So since Bell's is coming around the corner, like literally like days away, out of the new 10 males, who do you think has the best chance of doing well?
Gosh, well, the 10 guys, when you count those returning surfers, sticking with the 10 off the Challenger Series, I'm going back to Morgan. He just seems ready. I really enjoyed what he did at Pipe at the CS this year. He was really brave in his approach at backdoor. He faded one that was like, I didn't think was fadeable. He got blown out of a big pit. So he is so well-rounded and determined, and his maturity is really evident for me right now. So I think out of that entire top 10 picture with returners and rookies, Morgan's really the standout for me. When you add Ramsey, I'm excited to see him back. He got the call up with John's late announcement that he was going to sail. Yep. He just has worked so hard in his career. He deserves to be on tour. I haven't seen a lot of his surfing since that injury that he got at Bell's last year. I'm hoping that he's feeling his best. And then with Gabe Medina, I mean, he's one of the all-time greatest. So for him just entering the scene again, like the Terminator, I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I mean, the Challenger is leading well into the new season. I feel like.
It turned that into like a huge block, for some. And there were certain surfers that already kind of knew they were qualified, and they were still there in Newcastle. Right. And I guess you think about pro surfing. If you're surfing a heat a day, you could manage that well, and you actually want to feel that heat energy. You can do mock heats all day, but it doesn't really recreate real intense battle when there's a horn on judges and there's a lot on the line. So everyone who even knew they had a sure shot, they weren't going, okay, I'm just going to wait for Bell's and just practice there. They still wanted to compete at Newcastle, which made a lot of sense to me. And now they're heading to Bell's Beach. Most of them are already there, and they'll go from there to Margaret River to Gold Coast to Raglan in this just hyper intense 2-month start to the season. So you can't be trying to figure out too many things on the fly. Hopefully everyone's ready to go.
And then the women. So this is an interesting one with all the European ladies coming on.
Gosh, that was the narrative this year of going, wow, look at this just European force that, you could relate to the guys, Brazilian Storm, even, what San Clementi's been doing recently. But, Europe's so interesting. A lot of them are from different places, like Basque Country representation with Nadia Aristarbe, two surfers from Portugal when they've never had any females on tour. It was Kika Veselko and Yolanda Hopkins. And then you've got the youngest ever to qualify, Tia Zabrowski. And also one of the raddest stories we've ever had is, from Tel Aviv, Israel, Anat Lelior. Had one of the most amazing, beautiful, emotional reactions to seeing her dream realized. That was really special. Yeah, I'm really stoked for her on this journey of representing a place that has never had it on the CT.
Never.
And that's just a powerful message to everyone growing up around the world. What I've heard, the way the beach break she grew up on is like bad Florida, kind of, like it with moments, so like, she had to be so determined and driven to want this thing and beyond, with less resources than most. And now, seeing her qualify for the Olympic Games 2 times, she knows how to work hard, and every heat she surfs in will have much more meaning, I think, than the ones that maybe grew up in a surf shop and in front of the surf industry. She will be fighting for every single point. And I think she's gonna have some big moments this year.
Hungry,
man. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. The women, once again, the last few years have really been exciting. It's just getting more exciting. And then with Sally coming back, that's awesome.
Oh, it's so cool, man. Like
everyone loves
everybody.
Sally.
It's her drive is just, it's so awe-inspiring. It's like every time you think maybe she would start dabbling into something else, she reminds you that she has so many years left in her, and then not just being there, of still with the goal of winning a world title. And this is someone that's had heartbreak of 3-time runner-up in the world and been number 1 in the world at the final event and had it like a wild card beater in the past and having to start from scratch again and again and again. I don't think there's anything that could happen to Sally where she'd be like, that's too much, she's insane. When I look back at her career too, I don't ever remember her missing an event due to injury, even if she was hurt. Like perfect attendance. Gosh, she had a quarterfinal streak that was like 45 straights when she first got on tour. She's a weapon, man. And now with all this experience, that'll be a fun little balance with this kind of younger narrative we've had on the women's CT the last few years.
Yeah. And then we have Alyssa Spencer, who's been on tour before, but now she's back.
Yeah, the comeback again story for Alyssa. Yeah, she's learned a lot the last few years. She had to deal with the midseason cut, which is gone. So like we talked last, Mike, it's such a great time to be not just on tour, but a rookie on tour, a comeback surfer that's kind of like going around the block again, trying to figure some things out. I think for Alyssa, she's dealt with heartbreak on the Challenger Series, and she's got a real smooth approach. She's going to be fun this year.
Now, the women, Bells, which one do you think is going to do probably the best out of those?
The whole thing with Carissa Moore back, I think we kind of crossed that as well. There's something different about her. I mean, I guess Captain Obvious, she's a mom now, but there seems to be this extra energy about her. In the clips I've seen, I ran into her once in the off season, and it's like almost like when this has been your life since day one, you've got more determination in your head that maybe only Kelly and like Michael Jordan's and Serena Williams would understand when you're one of the all-time greats. And then you have that time to become a mom, and this whole thing becomes redefined for you, and you want it and you want more. That is huge. Like for motivation, for deciding your why, and I think the last few years we saw Carissa, she was always wondering what her why was, what her purpose was. And I think it's just through her veins. She could feel the blood, the fire of wanting to do this again and share it with her little family. And a 3-time Bells champ, one of the all-time greats, best in power surfing. If the bowl's like 6 to 8 foot, good luck. I think she's gonna. She's gonna take some names down. I think her draw's already set. She'll have a lower seed. There's no 3 surfer heats anymore. There's no non-elimination round this year. That's going to be really interesting to feel at Bells. And so I think she's got Sawyer Lindblad in that first heat at Bells. Looking forward to that one.
So first round, you lose or win or lose. We're going to eliminate. several
Yeah, and if
surfers.
you're a low seed, so like when we were watching Newcastle, like the top 10 for the guys, there was so much incentive there to finish in the top 5
The
rather
top
than 6
5,
through 10,
yeah.
because if you're in the last few spots for the guys, you're in that extra round, that first round, that will be really heavy if you're losing, because you're going to be thinking about starting the year with a terrible result. So if you're in that top 5, you've already skipped into round 2. Even though it sounds like light, it's such a big deal. And that's why I think there was a dogfight for those positions at
100%.
Newcastle.
Which, back to the Challenger Series, the Challenger Series are fun to
Yeah.
watch, just because they're very hungry guys that have been, there's a lot of experience there, but there's a lot of upcoming guys.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. And you have to start in those 4-man heats, and
I love the 4-man heats, honestly.
they are so fun. There's so much entertainment. They approach things differently. The waves are obviously different, so it's a fun tier to enjoy, to see who's going to make the leap.
Yeah. Well, thanks for chatting about the new class coming on and the reoccurring guys and gals. But I do have a question. We didn't talk about Raglan because it wasn't on the schedule back then. It was Bay still. What do you think about Raglan being an event? I'm excited to watch it. I'm a goofy foot.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, this one's for the goofies, man. It's a topic that's been around forever, of needing more lefts on tour, and not, the pipelines, the chopes, even big cloud breakers, like a performance left where people could go crazy. I love it there. I've been there once, maybe 15 years ago. Really rippable. I surfed the Manu Bay section, which is like the bottom. I've seen a lot of clips lately, and looking around the corner at the top of that point is unbelievable waves, and you can get really barreled. So fingers crossed we get a great forecast, but the people in Raglan are incredible. I'm really, really stoked for Billy Stearman getting early announcement of a wild card. He's like a 9-time national champion, and he's just a really great human being as well. So he'll be able to be in his first ever CT, and it'll be at his home break. And he's a regular footer, so I think it's really well balanced. And I'm really looking forward to the regular footers jumping into that mix of who's got the best performance backhand on tour. Normally it's like watching Jack Robinson do that beautiful backhand tube stall, or showing how brave he is over a ledge backside. But now, like, putting it together, kind of like when we had G-Land a few years ago, and it wasn't big. And I really enjoyed watching the Toledos, and Griffin Colapinto's backhand is crazy good. All those guys get to have their backhand really measured against each other, and also the goofs like Connor O'Leary and Medina, and oh my God, Italo, what's he gonna do on that thing? It's really gonna be a fun one.
No, I'm so excited. I mean, I'm not glad J-Bay's gone, but I'm glad they replaced it with almost like a mirror image. Maybe I'm wrong. Never been there.
Oh yeah, it's a cool flip, and I do think the goofies deserve a left. If you could put like a Macaroni's on there, an Uluwatu. We've had those, we had Ulus in the past, and it's like, I really think it creates a great balance for the tour. And also there's the idea of going somewhere new, you look at like social media, there's a lot of guys on tour and girls on tour that have been doing just quick strike missions to go feel out Raglan and get prepared. So yeah, really stoked on that addition last minute.
Super stoked. So, and for you, are you like just totally packing it? Like it's time to go?
It's time to go, Mike. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for 2 months on the road. So packing for me isn't too stressful after all these years. I kind of go, okay, I'm going to Australia. I've got resources there. If I have my passport, wallet, phone, and a charger, I think I'll be okay. So I just need to keep it simple. I'll have a board waiting for me when I get there. Stoked on that. And then I'm getting a wetsuit from Rip Curl. So I'm going to try to travel as light as I can. And I know I'm going to accumulate stuff over the next 2 months. So I'm going to try to keep it as simple as I can.
Thank you so much. Everyone's going to look forward to hearing what your take on all this. And I'm stoked. Have a good time. I know you're going to be super busy. It's going to be, but fun.
Oh yeah,
right?
It'll be fun. Starting off with an award show. That'll be cool to see Molly Picklum and Yago Dora do their world title speeches. The rookies will get their jerseys. They get to pick their numbers. Everyone gets dressed up. And then things roll out. The energy of opening day is really, really exciting. And especially in a country like Australia, an event like Bells with crazy amount of history, the whole state of Victoria will come out for it. So yeah, can't wait.
Awesome. Well, Joe Turpel, thank you so much for coming on QuiverCast again, dude. I will keep your day up. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Joe, for coming
Stoked,
on.
Mike. Thanks for having me.
Went down to Waimea Bay. What a fantastic sunny day. Boys and girls hanging round. Surfers going up and down. That's when I caught my wave. Knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore. And yes, dreams come true. What a fantastic sunny day. Boys and girls hanging around. Surfers going up and down. When I caught my wave, knew what to do. Surf that wave right to the shore. And yes, my dream came true.